In this clip we're going to take a look at rounding involving decimals and the types of questions that might be coming our way. So just to remind ourselves the principles of rounding, because they hold good wherever we're using it. So if I said to you, round that to, oh well, let's do that. Round that to the nearest 10. Remember, we're always looking at options with rounding. We can either go to 10 or we can go to 20. That's the nearest 10. Now, we're looking at that to help us make the decision. When it's 5 or above, we round up. When it's less than 5, we round down. So in answer to that question, if we were rounding 15 to the nearest 10, we would round it to 20. Okay. Now, that's useful to us because it applies. So at this time, let's take the first scenario. So now I've got 2.4, and we might be asked to round that to the nearest whole number. So the first thing we've got to ask ourselves, what's our choices? Well, we know now, don't we, the nearest whole number, so we've got to think about whole numbers. So it could either be 2 or it could be 3. Now, that's the decision maker. That's the thing that's going to help us now. We look at the tenths column, and well, we can see it's less than 5/10. So our answer is going to be that 2.4 rounded to the nearest whole number would be 2. If I had something like 3.8 rounded to the nearest whole number, our choices are going to be 3 or 4. This time, because it's above 5, you can see straight away that we would round to the whole number, which would be 4. Right, okay, so that's rounding to the nearest whole number. Now, sometimes we might be asked to round to 1 decimal place, and it would look, the question might say, give your answer to 1 dp, 1 decimal place. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that in our answer, we've only got one decimal digit. So, for instance, I might have 1.37, and the question is saying round that to 1 decimal place. Right, okay, now again, always think choices. What are our choices? Well, it could be either 1.3, there's our 1 decimal, or 1.4. Now this time, where do you think we're going to look to help us make the decision? Well, there it is. We're looking at our hundredths column this time. And because it's above 5, we can see straight away that 1.37 rounded to 1 decimal place would be 1.4. All right. Now, still thinking about 1 decimal place, we might have something like this. 1.749623. And the question again is round that to 1 decimal place. Now we don't need to panic. Using the principle of what we looked at there, we do exactly the same. That's the digit that's going to help me make the decision. I'm looking at the hundredths column, and I can see that that is less than 5. So remember, our choices now are going to be 1.7 or 1.8. We've got to make the decision. That's helping us. It's less than 5, so therefore it's going to round down to 1.7. Okay, right. So far so good. Now, the next challenge might be sometimes the question will say, can you round give your answer to 2 decimal places? Well, that simply means that this time in our answer we need to have 2 decimal digits. So let's have a look at something like 4.62. Let's go 625. 4.625, and I'm being asked to round that to 2 decimal places. So I've got to have 2 decimal places in my answer. So let's think about what our options could be. Well, it could be 4.62, or it could be 4.63. Now again, this time which column is going to help us to make our decision? And yet, you're ahead of me. We're now looking at the thousandths column. Well, look, it's above 5. It's 5 or above. Well, we know what we're going to do with that. We're going to round up to 4.63. So now our answer is to 2 decimal places. And you can see how this pattern emerges. Even if it's a bigger number, so 4.734296 to 2 decimal places, all we've got to do is remember we look at the 3rd column. So it's quite interesting. 2 decimal places, we look at the 3rd column. When we were doing 1 decimal place, we looked at the 2nd column. So you can see that pattern that's emerging that's going to be quite helpful to us. So again, we've got to think about what are our options. Our answer has to have 2 decimal places, so it can only be 4.73 or 4.74. We're looking at that column to help us make the decision. This time it's less than 5, so we're going to round down to 4.73. You're getting the hang of this. Right, and then the last one, and we don't often come across this, but every now and again, you might be asked to round something to 3 decimal places. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's say we've got 6.7236. Now, we want 3 decimal places, 3 decimals in our answer, and you can see straight away 3 decimal places, therefore we use the 4th column. That's going to help us. What are our options? Well, we're either going to go with 6.723 or 6.724. That's above 5. Job done. We round up to 6.724. And again, even in a bigger number, as we looked at before, 6.398462, round it to 3 decimal places. We've got to have 3 decimal places in our answer, so therefore we look at the 4th column. Our options are 6.398 or 6.399. 4 helps us to make the decision. It's less than 5, so we're rounding down to 6.398. And that's it.